Hey, all. Welcome into Mad Marker Militia's first ever podcast. I'd like to start off by introducing myself. I am Dillon Moore. I'm a member of the Mad Marker Militia Paintball team and Mad Marker Militia Fantasy Football League. Like to introduce my co-host here. Very glad that he's here to support this. And we'll have different guests coming in and out to talk about certain things, but we'll get into that later. Ron, would you like to say anything?
What's going on, guys? Glad to be here. Excited for the new football season, and we've had a very great year for our paintball team, and I'm just glad to be here and glad to share some news with the paintball world and the fantasy football world.
Absolutely. Yep, I like that. So just to give you some background of our paintball team, again, we're Mad Marker Militia. We're a Christian-based paintball team established in North Carolina, Gastonia, North Carolina, and the surrounding areas. We've been a collected unit for over about 6 years, and we're close to about 30 members strong. Typically, we play woods ball. We attend majority of the scenario games, on the East Coast. And just as a recap of what we've kind of done as a paintball team this past season, Ronnie, would you like to step in there and just kind of let us know?
Yep. Dreaded Legends, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina this year. We played for Callista, and we won the most valuable team, the MVT, for the red team this year, which was a huge accomplishment for Mad Marker Militia. That was probably one of the biggest accomplishments we've ever had. As far as anything for the future, we do have Florida Gap coming up November 1st, which you, the one and only Dylan Rambo Moore, will be. You will be the general or the commander for a unit. It's the 322 for NATO, which is going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. And I'm excited, and I know you are too.
Absolutely.
That's a big accomplishment for you and our team to be recognized at that point.
Yeah, I'm. It's a great honor to command such a big game. It's Florida Gap. It's a huge game for the East Coast. Usually about 1,500 players come and attend. It's a 2-day event, and again, it's a great honor to command a unit. There's several units on each side of the team, so to be one of those out of the 1,500 people attending, it's a pretty big accomplishment. And again, I'm honored to do so, and I'm lucky to have a great supporting cast as far as Mad Marker Militia to come out and help support me and play together as a team. And we're playing for NATO this year. Again, the unit is 322. So anybody is interested in trying out paintball, or you've never played before, or if you played before, if you're just looking for a game to come play, come check it out. And Ron, would you just kind of let the people know how Mad Marker Militia runs, as far as bringing in new people to the team, just kind of how we are?
Well, we're a Christian organization, and we've always based it on that. And but we're always looking for new talent and new members. And we enjoy pushing the paintball world, trying to encourage people to get out and play, because it is a good, clean, fun atmosphere, and it's a brotherhood. Our team's a brotherhood, which is big for us. Because it's nice to have friends just going through life, but when you have a paintball team, it's a brotherhood, and I know you focused on that for the last 6 years, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this coming Florida Gap and this new year coming around the corner with our paintball team. I'm excited what's going to happen next year. Something new and more exciting, I'm sure.
Yeah. And just to reiterate, as far as Mad Marker Militia itself, we started about 6 years ago. We've known there's several members on the team that we've known each other for a good while. We've played paintball for a long time now, but we finally decided to make something more organized, and we went from about 10 members, probably about 8 to 10 members, and now we're up to 30. So we've grown tremendously since 6 years ago, and I'm very happy with the way we are now. We're a paintball team. to start with, but we're also plenty more. We go out, we have dinner with each other, we do different events, bowling, top golf, and what we're going to be talking a lot of about here soon, fantasy football.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the best time of the year. Football's right around the corner. I think within 10 days, it starts up. So, anyways, let's get right into it. So, our fantasy football league, Mad Marker Militia. This is our fifth annual league, fifth year doing it. You know, we've Ronnie, would you like to just kind of tell us how we started? You know, how
Well,
we
5 years ago, we was already playing uh, paintball together, and you approached me and a few of the other guys and said, Scott and some other guys said, hey, what do you think about playing in a fantasy football league? And I had never done that. And I know you and Scott and some other guys had, but it was definitely new to me. And I was instantly hooked, instantly. So
Mhm.
as far as our league, I know initially we had 10 guys, and we basically moved up and went to 12-man league, and that's what we currently are now. We're a standard league. Uh, we basically have a quarterback, two running backs, three wide receivers, a tight end, a kicker, and a defense, and then we have 7 guys on the bench. Uh, and we had a blast. I remember we had a blast this uh, last draft this a couple weeks ago, I believe, wasn't it, Dillon? And it was awesome. It was probably the best draft we've ever had by far. Uh, and we always are excited. I mean, we can't wait for a whole year just for our draft to come around because we look forward to it so much. Our league is special. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's we've got some outstanding guys managing the teams. It's a very active league. A lot of trash talk.
Oh yeah.
A lot of a lot of me sending out trades to people and waiting on them to accept it, which usually gets declined and I have to send another one. But it's been a good time. It also fantasy football. It just makes the football season, better. Um, and then whenever you've got a good group of guys, talking with each other about fantasy football, it just it's a good experience.
So
So yeah.
I hate to interrupt you, Dylan, but I noticed there's something flashy on your pinky right
Oh,
there.
what
Could you
was that?
show the viewers your left pinky? Look at that. What is it, Dylan? Could you tell us what that is right there?
So last year, we
Mhm.
started something new this year. We're going to give out fantasy football championship rings. So you are looking at the 2017 through 18 fantasy football champion here.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So that's something.
Congra-
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Congratulations, man. You
Yeah,
earned it.
thank you. Yeah. Last year was a tough league. Um, I went up against Nick, in which we'll introduce all the guys here soon. Um, as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and talk about the guys that are in the fantasy football league,
All right.
um, and then go ahead and if you don't mind, go ahead and get started as far as introducing the guys, and then I'm gonna pull up the guys on the screen here so you can look at them while we're talking about it.
All right. Well, introducing our managers. Uh, the first manager I have on the screen is Dennis Gomez, the Carolina Pirates. Dennis, he's an original member. Been with us the whole 5 years, and has several successful uh, years with us. The next team manager is Blade McCall. Post Mahomes is his name, and uh, Blade's been with us since the inception of our team, and been with us a long time. And then the next team manager is Mike Long. Uh, his name is trying to make out that name, Barkley.
All
Uh,
Barkley, no bite.
all Barkley, nobody. I see it now.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's been with us ever since day one, and of course, the defending champion Dillon Moore, Greg's Old Town Road. Dillon's won 3 championships out of 5 years. He's definitely the most successful manager of our league. Number 5 is Nick Long, Antonio Clowns. He's been with us since the beginning. He's won, I think, one Super Bowl. Is that right? One championship or two? How many times did Nick won? I know
He
he's won one.
won. He won 2 years ago. He was the first manager to win other than me.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, he won 2 years ago. Um,
So the next guy is Scott Reed. Scott's been with us since the beginning. Name his team this year is What Me Whip, What Me TJ. Our guys always come up with some interesting names, don't they?
yeah, yeah.
Number 7 is me, Ronnie Gomez, Red Zone Freak.
And I'll
Uh,
stop you there. I'll introduce you. So Ronnie is the red zone freak.
yeah.
Ronnie's been an original member. Of course, we first started up 5 years ago, and Ronnie, we've had a few championship battles.
Yep.
He hasn't beat me yet, but he's hoping to make that change this year.
Yeah.
Uh, so we'll see if that happens. Time will tell.
That's right.
Um, then number 8 here is Dustin Vo. This is a second year in the league. His team name is Brian Burns It Down. Um, for Carolina Panthers, Brian Burns.
Yep.
So it's pretty unique. And then Joel Mosley, he is also a second time player, and his team name is Russell Sprouts. And then we have Jared Gomez. Um, he has been, of course, a member since the beginning, and he actually won an award this year. We did something different. He was the comeback manager of the year. He had a pretty bad season 2 years ago. I wouldn't say quite bad, but he finished towards the bottom. And then this past season, he killed it. He had a great fantasy football team. I think he ended up finishing third in the league, but just from his record from 2 years ago to this year, it was outstanding. But his team name is McCaffrey's Country. Um, and then our next manager is Jeremy Holly. This will be his second year doing it. He skipped a couple of years, but he's coming back, making a comeback. And his team name is Puppet Master. And then last but not least is Ashanti Williams. He is an original member as well. And his team name is Let's Get Physical. Physical. Uh,
Ezekiel.
Physical set up there. And of course, all of these team names have a lot to do. Again, we are a keeper league. So some of the keeper players that were kept, of course, has a lot to tie in with their names that was chosen. But just we have a good time. Again, this was our 5th annual fantasy football draft. Me and the commissioners, I didn't even introduce my commissioners, but Ronnie is one of the commissioners. And then Scott Reed is also a commissioner as well. And they helped me out tremendously as far as setting everything up and getting everything together. But we try to really do something different this year, being that it's our 5th year. And I think we did a great job. As far as we try to do something each year differently to do our draft order determination. And a couple. Let's go back from before and just kind of say what we. Can you kind of go back in the years and let everybody know what we've done as far as determining draft order?
We've have a lot of successful and very fun ways to determine draft order over the years. One year we determined by paintball. You and Scott come up with this one. It was a great idea. We had a paintball gun, and basically y'all had numbers on I think it was a board, and the number you only had one shot each, and which number you hit was the number that you could pick. And it took a while because it wasn't easy. So another year we had a football toss. That was very interesting because I remember we was over at Shanti's house, and that was interesting. That was very fun. Another year, I think, was it last year? I think we threw darts at a balloon, and nobody knew what was in the balloon, so it was just random. Whatever balloon your dart hit, there was a number inside it, and that determined what your draft order was. And of course, this year was probably definitely the most interesting, Dillon. And I'll let you tell that one. That was
Yeah.
definitely
So
physical and
uh-huh.
interesting.
I told all the guys, I sort of had something to do as far as determining this, how we did this, and then we also had some help from a couple people as well. So shout out to Cameron Williams and my wife Jasmine Moore. They helped out a lot, and then there were several others there as helping as well. But um, so we did a field day. It's basically what I'm going to call it. Um, there was 5 different events all in one. We had points. It was point based. Each event had a certain amount of points that you could achieve. Um, and just one of our first events, we did a test of knowledge, and we did a quiz for that. So we had a 10-question quiz with a bonus answer. Um, and surprisingly, there was only one person who ended up getting the highest score limit on that. Only one person who got everything correct, and that was Dennis Gomez. So
Big
he
surprise.
he is the most knowledgeable one on the team. On from the managers, I would say that would be his strong point, and he won that event. So,
Yeah.
his football knowledge, kind of surprising, but he knew them all. So that was pretty cool. And then we had a test of luck, and this was a squadron game. It was just a random kind of game where everybody could pick a square. And if you happen to be in the square that the die roll was on, you would be eliminated. We did that for 4 rounds, and whoever was left standing ended up getting points. And then we did a test of skill. We had cornhole board set up, and we played some quick little games of cornhole, really quick. And basically, what you had as your score was how many points you were totaled. And then the field day really comes into play with these next 2 events. We had a relay race. Ronnie, you want to explain the relay race and how fun and crazy it was?
All right. The first relay race was you basically had to take a spoon, put it in your mouth, and lay an egg on the spoon, which really we didn't start off too good. Our particular team did.
Just so
So
happened, Ronnie, me and
Blade,
Ronnie got matched up on the same team
yeah,
with Dustin and Blade, which was a great team. But Ronnie just so happened to have dropped one of his 2 eggs within taking the first 2 steps. Um,
yeah.
but
So
but
we
he made a
basically,
comeback, and he made a comeback with it.
yeah, I mean, if Dillon had to bring me another, the rule was I could not come back and get the egg. We have a teammate bring it to me, so Dillon brought it to me, and it was hard. You had to focus and walk slow and be balanced. So you had to go probably 20 or 30 yards, I would say, down to the chair and come back around and get to the start finish line to where we could start the second part of the relay, uh, which was the 3-legged race.
Yeah, and that was a big hit. Everybody had duct taped around their legs. Um, and it was a 3-legged race. They had to race down and come back. And then the final event was a
Let me take this one, Dylan, since you was the one involved. All right. The 3-legged race, we come back and we dominated that. So we had a big lead. Um, and so it was a sack race. It was Dylan, Mike, and I can't remember who the other guy was in the sack. But
it would have been Joel, but they got disqualified because their
that's right. Their tape
duct
come
tape.
apart.
Yep, their tape come
So,
apart.
so it was just you and Mike. Well, you took a few hops and you fell, took a tumble,
Well,
and and it was funny. But you had a good lead and you finished up strong. And well, Mike, he took a hard tumble, and then his foot went through the sack, which was hilarious. It
I
was
missed it too because of course, I was in the race, so I didn't get to
yeah,
see him fall. But I
it
think
was
he
very.
was okay. But it was just funny. Just
It was a fun event all the way around, and we all survived the relay race. But our particular team won the relays, which was really really cool because we started out not too good at the beginning there.
yeah. But we
Uh,
came back. We had a good squad.
and
Um,
then the next thing. Dylan, I'll let you take the next event that we had to do.
So the relay race was a test of teamwork. That's the way we put it. And then our last event was a test of strength. And so we did tug of war for that. And that was really great. A lot of us hadn't played tug of war since
A
probably
long time.
elementary or middle school, so that was just really interesting. And there's actually, everything we're talking about here has been posted up on the Facebook page. There's tons of pictures and the videos as well. So feel free to check that out at Mad Marker Militia on Facebook, the sports page there. But yeah, no, it was a blast. We all had a good time.
Oh yeah.
The weather was nice. But it all worked out pretty good. And anyways, the way we introduced everybody, that was actually how they finished.
That's right.
As far as the point totals, so it was Dennis, Blade, Mike, Dylan, Nick, Scott, Ronnie, Dustin, Joel, Jared, Jeremy, and Ashanti. So Dennis had the first pick, in which in our league, we were a keeper league last year. We still are. But a lot of the top available players were already taken because of the keepers. So Dennis had the first pick of the rest of the best players, which was a pretty big advantage there.
Yes, it was.
This year, we did a couple more changes. As far as the rules for our league, again, it's a standard league, 6 point per quarterback passing touchdowns there. So that's pretty big key there. So we changed the way we do our keepers this year. So the keepers are based off of the way we draft. So you can keep a player that you draft for next year's league. The one that I referenced whenever we was explaining was Blade. Last year, he hit gold in the 16th round. He ended up drafting Patrick Mahomes. So if he just, if we had did this rule last year, he would have kept Patrick Mahomes in the 16th round, which is a huge advantage.
Yeah.
But luckily that didn't happen this year, But somebody may have drafted a gold diamond in the rough this year. We just don't know yet.
That's right.
But so that's one of the rules that we changed there. We also changed our playoff schedule. For the past 4 years, we've all had the final playoff game in week 17, which there's always conflict there. A lot of the higher up teams, such as the Saints last year, they ended up setting Alvin Kamara. And I don't think Drew Brees. I don't know if he played or not, but some of their main players were set. And usually, a lot of the higher up teams set their stars. So for fantasy purposes, it really, really hurts. So the guys, we all voted on that, and so we changed our league settings there from 14, 15, and 16 for the playoff weeks.
Oh.
So
Dylan, we can't do a podcast without giving the Steelers and the Cowboys fans in our league a hard time a little bit. This is something we can take advantage of. So if we want to take any cheap shots, this is the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I'll go out on record. I think the Carolina Panthers are going to have a better record than both of those two team names that you named there. I'm thinking now that they're going to go 10-6. I don't think none of those other two teams are going to go have a better record than that. So there's my little cheap shot where I can't
there you
have
go.
them talking. But you never know, man. We might have some guests come on here and speak their knowledge about it. But me and Ronnie are both big time Carolina Panthers fans.
Yeah.
So we both think they're going to have a good season this year.
Yep, definitely. Looking forward to it.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, we had a good time with the draft. Again, we pretty much, it's an all day event whenever we do it. We're looking to maybe change it up for next year. But we started at 3 o'clock and we didn't get finished till 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we had some dedicated guys come out and we have a good time doing it. But again, it makes the football season exciting.
Yes, it does.
Did you want to add anything about the football draft there? Maybe.
Well, it seemed like every year we get better and better on how we make the draft, and it's hard to beat, this last year. But we always are successful, and I give you, of course, Cameron and Jazz seem like I'm assuming Jazz come up with a lot of that stuff, and I know you had something to do with it too. But it was very unique and very creative how she come up with the draft order. So I'm sure it was physical, and some of the older guys might have had a little hard time with it, but it definitely made it interesting because we got a mixture of young guys and older guys.
Oh yeah.
And I know, before I forget, our next podcast, I believe me and you we're going to be discussing maybe about our teams and maybe go through our league and talk about each team and maybe some of their players or top players they have, and maybe make some predictions or give each other a hard time about why they picked in that particular spot. Whatever we want to do. But it's going to be fun.
Yep, that's the plans for the next podcast. We're going to again go over our draft that we did there and talk some football. Speaking of, again, this is our first ever podcast, so we're going to try to make this a weekly thing. We'll try to have a video out for you every week. Not sure what day, just kind of whenever we have time to do it, but you will have content, of course. We're going to try to keep this podcast relating to paintball and football, and I don't know, we'll just talk whatever comes to mind, just kind of chit chat. But this way you guys will get to know Mad Marker Militia better. And again, if you ever have any questions or whatever, always feel free to hit me or Ronnie up. And if you want to get on the show, let me know too. So, but we will have some guests pop in and out, and we'll just make fun with it. So, Ron, do you have anything else that you'd like to say before we end this podcast?
I'm excited about the fantasy league this year, and about the future of our league, and of course I'm excited about our paintball team and how things are going to work out. And I'm looking forward to our next podcast. We'll have some very interesting stuff. Yes,
sir. Well, I'm Dillon and he is Ronnie. So we will go ahead and we will see you next time. Peace out. Mad Marker
Later, guys.